Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. So in this video I am going to be talking about how you can use this sample Java program to test SSL based connectivity or TLS based connectivity between a client machine and a database host. Okay, and you might ask, like, why should I learn about this? You might need to do this when you're doing like certain firewall changes, and if you're setting up SSL or TLS for the first time, you might want to actually verify the connectivity between the database host and the client host. And yeah, so those are the two main situations or scenarios where you might need to do this. So in my case, actually, I have two VMs or two instances I created on my EC2, AWS EC2. I'm going to be using that. Uh, and yeah, so I'm going to be showing you how to configure Postgres for SSL and how you can create some dummy certificates for this test or for this testing, how you can write a Java program uh, in Eclipse using JDBC driver, and of course you will be doing a SSL based connectivity, okay, in the Java program. So I'm going to be showing you all that. So it's going to be like a little bit uh, a long video, but if you refer to Postgres documentation, you're not going to see all these things. This is going to be really useful for a few folks. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm going to be showing you my database host, and the first thing that I'm going to show you is that I do have a Postgres database running on my host, right? So this is my database host, and I have a PostgreSQL. It's an RDBMS database. I just installed it using yum, and it's up and running. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on my client machine, my application machine. I have Java version 1.8 or Java 8, whatever you call it. Okay, so I have that installed. Again, I just used yum commands to install it. If you want, I can leave the links for installing PostgreSQL and Java using yum. Um, yeah, just let me know in the comments. Uh, moving on. Okay, so one thing that I do want to emphasize is you want to actually make sure that the firewall and the security groups are configured for connectivity between your database and your client, right? Um, you know, so you probably want to do that before starting this test, right? So make sure that the client can reach the database on whichever port your Postgres is listening on. Okay, so I already did that. Okay, so now, okay, so let's go ahead and start prepping our database host for SSL connectivity. So I'm just going to be running some OpenSSL commands. OpenSSL is a utility that's used for doing this kind of thing. So here I'll just show you what to pay attention to. You don't need to know, you don't need to understand everything whatever this command is doing. So all I'm doing here is I'm trying to create like a private key. You need a private key first, and I'm going to give it some random password and confirm that password, and it's based on some DES based encryption, right? So then I'm going to be running this other command. This is actually for sort of like removing the password, and your private key needs to be having a certain uh, privilege, that is 400. That means only you can actually read the private key file and no one else, and it should be owned by the Postgres user. okay, and the Postgres group. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be uh, signing this certificate. So here again I'm using OpenSSL. The key uh, that we are using is the key that we just created, and we are creating a certificate out of it. But this is actually called self-signing. Okay, you will see that there are two files now. There's a private key file and there is a certificate file. Another thing that I'm going to do is usually like you will have like a certificate authority file, or a root certificate authority file. So I'm going to be copying this server certificate, and I am just going to name it as root.crt, like referring to the certificate authority. And don't worry if you don't understand any of these, just blindly run these commands, because all we are doing is just creating some dummy certificates. So this is all happening in my temp directory, right? So I'm going to move all these files to where my Postgres is installed. So it makes more sense to actually have these files there. So which is in etc Postgres 12 main, and then I'm going to move this root certificate as well to this directory. Okay, and I'm going to go there, and one thing that you want to do is make sure that you configure this file basically for this SSL connectivity, this pg underscore hba, this file. So this is where you say I am configuring this SSL thing and for this user, and this is where the traffic is coming from, and it is expecting a client certificate, and it's also expecting a password. So that's what it means actually. So you need to put this line in there. Okay, so then you look at the main configuration file, the database configuration file right here. So you can just say, if you just do SSL, you will see that these are the parameters that are required to configure your database. So as you can see, I just put these files that I just created in this directory, and I gave this location, right? I have the CA file, which is the file that I just copied, and the cert file, and and the key file, and then I have this SSL equals on. So all this needs to be set, and this has to be the right locations. Okay, so now you can actually bounce your database or restart your database. So service Postgres restart. Let's try this. Okay, PostgreSQL maybe. Let's try that. Okay, that worked. So now you restarted your database, so you can actually check whether your database came up fine. So my database log is here. So I'm just going to quickly tail it, and you shouldn't see any errors here after this reconfiguration, right? SSL reconfiguration. Make sure like your database is ready to accept connections. All good. Well, basically you need to create some certificates for your client machine as well. So I'm going to be running this OpenSSL command to create like a new private key, and this will be for the client machine again. Okay, and some password. Again, you need to run another command to remove the password, and I'll give all these commands, and I'll just put a link to a file which has all these commands actually. So then what you need to do is you need to create a certificate signing request. Okay, so what you do is, so you run this command, and this is the key, and this is the certificate signing request. Okay, all right, so then you need to sign it using your root CRT. So all good. So let's see what we have in the temp directory, right? So we have these three files: a certificate file, a private key file, and a certificate signing request. So let's actually just um, copy these files to the client machine. So I have copied these two files to my destination, to my client machine. So I'm going to copy one more file, which is the root file, the root certificate authority file. So let's do that, and that's going to be in here. Okay, so it's going to go. Oh, so this might be a prop. Okay, anyway, let's see. So that's copied. It's all going to the temp directory in my client mission. So if I do ls-lrt here, I see all these files. It's all good. So now what I will do is I will create a, you need to create a PostgreSQL directory, like a default directory where usually Java looks for these files in. Let's see. So we got a few these files here actually. So one more thing that we need to do is that we need to actually convert this file, this .key file, into a format that Java can understand, right? So we need to run another OpenSSL command for that, right? So you see this is the specific command that you need, and this you don't get anywhere actually. So please do make note of these commands and get them from my script and run it. And of course, if you are uh, if you got certificate files from someone, just use them and skip all these steps and just go to the place that is going to be useful for you. But anyway, so we have this file, and this file should be encrypted. As you can see, I have run this command, and there's one more file here called pk8 file. Actually, this is the file that's going to be used by our Java program. Okay, I'm going to change the permission of this to 600. You can make it 400 if you want. That's fine. So now the next one is actually to download uh, a JDBC driver, right? So if you go to this link, you will find the JDBC driver, right? You need that. So this, I'm just downloading the latest one. Okay, so let's actually open Eclipse over here, and I am going to be creating a new project, and it's a Java project. Next, and then you can just call it pSQL test, something like that. And then I've got Java 1.8 installed, and this is fine. So go to the next one and then finish, and we don't need this. We're going to create a class inside this. So let's do this. So right click, new class, and here the package is good. I'm going to call it com.execute on command, and then the name of the file is going to be let's say it's going to be connectdb. So just going to copy this and put it here. It's a connectdb class, and that's all, and we can finish. Now I'm going to copy the entire program into my my Eclipse, this particular class that I just created. So I'm going to fix this, execute on command, because that's the package I just created. And so here you can see we need to fix the IP, and we need the password that we provided for this conversion. Actually, like while converting this .key to .pk8, we provided a password right over here. we need to provide this SSL password here actually. Okay, so and we are going to be connecting to our database as Postgres user, and you need to actually provide the password for that here actually. So these are the changes that you need to make. So once you make these changes, maybe we can go here, build path, configure build path over here. Okay, add external jars. Okay, so here we can just input this thing that we just downloaded. This is the JDBC. I got it from the Postgres website. I just added it as external jar, right? And then apply and close. So now you can just simply run it. It's going to fail, and that's okay for me. So the connection attempt failed. That's all fine. All we need to do is we need to go to file and then export, and then this is going to be a runnable jar file under Java directory. Go here, and here you select this, and then destination you can give whatever. I'm just going to use the home. Over here I'm just going to say, it doesn't matter, connect db, right? .jar, save it, finish. So all good. So we have done it, right? So now this is good. This is what you will be doing, but remember that I haven't actually replaced this IP with my client IP and the password. I'm going to be fixing all that, and I am going to create my jar file properly. I'll pause the video and I'll come back real quick actually. Okay, so one thing I want to say is you want to make sure that you select this option while generating the jar file, because it has to package all the libraries into this jar file. So now we need to copy this jar file to our client machine. So now I recreated my jar file. I'm copying it to my client machine now, and then I'm going to try connecting this time by running this Java program, and we are able to reach the database properly, right? So the database has accepted the connection, right? So that's pretty much what we want to confirm actually. So you might actually see some issues as well, just like troubleshoot it, like these are basically the steps, and this is end to end actually, right? So we saw how we configure the database, how we created the certificate files, and how we like used a Java program that basically uses these files to connect to the database, right? So hopefully all these things will be useful for you. I'm pretty sure at least like a handful of people in this world will run into this scenario, and yeah, if you are one of them, just do leave a comment, and thank you. I'll see you in one of my other videos. Thank you. Bye.